okay? Passover also represents moving out of one state of consciousness to another. And I think right now we're in a time where everything is gimmicky. You know, everything can be turned into a profit. Everything can be hijacked. And so you lose the essence of what spirituality was supposed to serve, you know? The reason why spirit is ascending us from being the religious man and is alchemicalizing us to understand the necessary power in becoming the spirit man, right? And the spirit man, it can't be sold. It can't be given to you. It can't be bought. It can't be forced into you. It has to be something that you consciously choose, right? And oftentimes, choosing to operate out of the spiritual body is not popular. It's not popular because it's not flowing along with where the wave of the world is going right now. The spirit is really urging you to not get caught, not to be drowned out by the waves, not to be flooded with your pleasures, not to be caught up in the pleasure of your senses, that you're overtaken by them, right? That you create an unnatural storm around you that you never had to be in. Going with the wave in this season is going to take you off of your position. Even if everybody is doing it, spirit is beckoning you to go the other way. And I don't know who that's for, but this Aries full moon is really beckoning you to go the other way and not to be overtaken by your senses, and to consciously choose in this season to elevate from one state to the next. To elevate from one state to the next, okay? And understanding that this ascension of going from one state of consciousness into the next state of consciousness, which is to be aware, and are you going to have enough awareness to know when spirit is switching? We did the we lived the season of warning. We lived the season of alerting when spirit was getting us ready, okay? We then lived the season of information, the overflood of information, the overflood of truth telling, the overflooding of this is my opinion, the overflooding of this is my understanding. And now spirit is bringing us all as a collective to the purpose, to the point of, no, you're going to have to prove what you teach. No, you're going to have to prove your understanding, and not proving it to another individual outside of you or proving it in a debate. Now you're going to have to prove it with the spirit man. Now our teachings and our understandings now have to be revealed in us. What does that mean? Manifested in your lifestyle, manifested in your senses, manifested in your understanding, manifested in your actions, manifested in your conversations, manifested in your manifestations, right? So Passover represented the passing over from one state of consciousness into the next. And that's where spirit has us, whether you want to go or not. Whether we choose to take on the ascension of this planet or not, is going to happen with or without us. And all you have to do is look around at the senses that are playing itself out in the planet. Whether it be the destructive hurricanes and the tornadoes, whether it be the flooding of different parts of the world, whether it be the vengeful murders that we have been seeing take place, the planet is showing its senses. The planet is raging in emotions and is trying to get us ready. It's trying to get us acclimated to the new, I love that, Alicia, to the new equilibrium of the planet. And if your frequency doesn't fit the equilibrium of the planet, there's only one thing that can happen. Spirit has to delete you from the programming altogether. Because if not, you'll continue to cause the system to crash. Whether that's a system in your own individual world, or whether that's a system that we see happening or playing out on a collective level. Spirit is changing the equilibrium of this planet. So right now, we're in a season of crossing over, of passing over from your one way of operating and of understanding and of being and of perceiving the world into a new state of consciousness. Passover also translated into a mental attitude in which we are bridging from an old state. So what mental attitudes are you doing away with? What mental attitudes haven't been serving you? What mental attitudes have been working against the Aries fire that you should be using to produce and to create with? What is stifling your power? What is stifling your individuality? What is stifling your loyalty and your commitment to your own self and to your own dreams? What mental attitudes are doing you in or will do you in this next season? As we come into the season, you know, of what some will call the winter. What are going to be the things that you are doing away with as you go into hibernation? How have you prepared for this fall season? How have you prepared your mind? How have you prepared your bodies and your homes? What have you stored yourself up with? And I'm not talking about physical things. I'm talking about the spirit man. What have you stored up? Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I feel like I say it often. Outside ritual is not going to keep you filled. Outwardly, roots and bones, divination practices, lighting candles, lighting lamps, none of these things are going to keep you filled. You got to learn how to keep the lamp within you lit. That's what the purpose of our oil lamps that we handcraft here at the sanctuary is for. It's really an outer working that should be teaching you how to keep the lamp, the oil lamp within, which is really the spirit, how to keep that lit, how to keep it sustained. That's why oftentimes, a lot of y'all who buy our oil lamps, they sit on your dressers or they sit on your altars. Because the oil lamp within you is not engaged. So any ritual that you are engaging in outwardly is not going to satisfy you or keep you filled. Because you're not keeping the first ritual filled, which is this vessel, this body, fortifying this divine mind that we all encompass. Okay? So Passover is really dealing with our mental attitudes. And Spirit is asking us, are you ready to really bridge over from the current state that you're in right now into the new state? Passover represents the allegory of man taking on his Christ consciousness. Not sitting in your church houses on Sundays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Saturdays and giving worship to something outside of you. Your Christ consciousness that should have been taught esoterically was really teaching you about the death and the resurrection of the man, of the physical man, right? Of the spiritual man. How can you die more to yourself? What do you need to crucify? What needs to be laid to rest? What needs to be purged or purified out of you? What aspects of your consciousness do you need to lay down? Because that's what the allegory of the resurrection of Jesus Christ really was. What it really is teaching you, or what Jesus did through crucifying himself, the allegory, we know this didn't happen in real time, but the allegory of Jesus Christ crucifying himself was us watching another man put down his consciousness in order for you to keep yours. So you never have to be aware of your actions. You never have to be aware of your sinful nature. You never have to be aware of your race mind. You never have to be aware of your mental attitudes, because there's nothing holding you accountable. Because the message of Jesus came before you and paid it all. He didn't pay nothing. Because if he paid anything, you wouldn't currently be living in the hell that you find yourself waking up in every day. He didn't pay nothing. He's waiting for you to pick up your cross and to walk with him. Because that's what the Bible said. Right? The Bible said to pick up your cross and to walk with me. That means pick up your own awareness, consciousness. When we're talking about consciousness, we're not talking about some mystical, magical thing that's floating out in the sky around us. We're talking about your awareness. So when the Bible says that Jesus said to pick up your cross and to walk with me, what was being said was that Jesus gave the instruction for you to pick up your own consciousness and walk the same path, the allegoric path that he walked. So that nobody else has to come behind you or before you in order to save you. Save yourself. Because it's possible. Save yourself. Because so many people have come before us to give us the keys in order to do so. Save yourself. Because you have the power to do so. Save yourself. So that you never have to look outside of yourself for salvation ever again. Save yourself.